Napoleon Bonaparte once said impossible is a word to be found only in the dictionary of fools. When Napoleon spoke those words, he wasn't merely boasting about his ambition or his victories, he was defining a mindset, a way of confronting life itself. Impossible to him was not a barrier, but an illusion created by fear, doubt, and conformity. It was a word people invented to excuse their hesitation, to justify their failure to act, and to hide behind comfort rather than step into greatness. Napoleon understood something that most people never grasp, that human potential knows no limits, except the ones we impose upon ourselves. Think about the world we live in. Every great achievement, every monumental discovery, every act of progress once began as an impossible dream. The idea of flying was madness until the Wright brothers proved the sky could belong to man. Electricity was a fantasy until Edison turned darkness into light. Crossing oceans, reaching the moon, connecting billions of people across continents through a small device in our hands, all of it was impossible until someone dared to believe otherwise. That's the essence of Napoleon's wisdom. The word impossible is not a truth, it's a test. It's life's way of asking you, how badly do you want it? When Napoleon said that impossible is a word found only in the dictionary of fools, he was reminding us that those who surrender to limitation never discover their true strength. The fool is not someone who fails, the fool is someone who never tries because he has already decided he cannot. The wise, the brave, the dreamers, they refuse to accept that something cannot be done merely because it has not been done before. They understand that greatness begins where comfort ends, and that courage is born in the silence after everyone else has said, "It can't be done." Look around your own life. How many times have you told yourself that something was impossible? Maybe it was a goal, a dream, a change you wanted to make, a career, a relationship, a vision of who you could become. And how often was that voice not reality speaking, but fear? The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of being laughed at or misunderstood. Yet history shows us that those who achieve the extraordinary are never the ones who seek permission or wait for the perfect moment. They act, even when the odds are against them. They persist, even when success seems a distant mirage. Napoleon's statement challenges us to rewire the way we think. The next time you face an obstacle, ask yourself, is it truly impossible, or just difficult? Is it truly beyond your reach, or merely outside your comfort zone? When you replace the word impossible with "I will find a way," everything changes. Your mind begins to search for solutions instead of excuses. You start to see possibilities instead of walls. That shift in mindset is the difference between ordinary and exceptional. Consider Napoleon himself. He was not born into privilege or royalty. He was a poor Corsican boy who rose to command an empire. His ambition was so vast that it reshaped Europe. He built his life on the belief that limits exist only in the minds of those too timid to challenge them. Whether you agree with his politics or not, his conviction was unshakable, and that conviction became the engine of his destiny. It's a reminder that power does not come from circumstance, but from mindset. You don't need a crown to rule your life, you need courage, discipline, and an unyielding refusal to quit. And yes, sometimes life will test that belief. You will fail. You will face rejection. You will stumble, and people will call you foolish for daring to believe in something bigger. But remember, the path of the visionary has always been lonely. The one who sees beyond the horizon is always misunderstood by those who refuse to lift their eyes. Napoleon's words echo through time because they capture that defiance, that burning spirit that refuses to be tamed by what is and instead reaches for what could be. Every invention, every work of art, every revolution begins in the mind of someone who was willing to look at the impossible and whisper, "Watch me." That's the fire you must protect. That's the voice you must listen to when the world tries to shrink your dreams into something manageable. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because life is too hard, they fail because they settle too soon. They stop fighting when things get uncomfortable. They let doubt speak louder than desire. If Napoleon could speak to us today, I imagine he would say this: do not ask whether something can be done, ask how it can be done. The difference between those two questions defines your future. One ends in resignation, the other opens a doorway to discovery. The word impossible has no power unless you give it power. It cannot stop you unless you choose to stop. The human spirit has conquered mountains, oceans, and galaxies. Why should your own limits be any different? So let this be your challenge. Erase that word from your personal dictionary. When your mind says impossible, answer back with not yet. When others tell you you can't, smile and say, watch me. Because in the end, the greatest victories are not those won on battlefields or in boardrooms, but within yourself the moment you refuse to let fear dictate your destiny. Napoleon's quote is not about arrogance, it's about awakening. It's a call to arms for the soul, a reminder that life bows only to those who dare to lead it. The fools will always find reasons, the wise will always find ways. The world belongs not to those who wait for opportunities, but to those who create them. And perhaps that's the truest meaning of his words: impossible doesn't exist, only the unwilling.